Good evening, Nigeria, and welcome to another edition of Electricity Town Hall, a program being sponsored by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC), aimed at keeping consumers of electricity abreast of happenings in the nation's power sector. This program comes your way every Monday on the network service of Radio Nigeria at 7 o'clock in the evening. NERC is the regulator for the nation's power sector, interfacing with electricity generation companies known as GENCOs, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the distribution companies, DISCOs. I'm David Umur, your anchor. The Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC, is a framework for electricity generation, transmission, and distribution in Nigeria. It's a critical sector that plays a vital role in Nigeria's economic development, fueling industries and improving the standard of living. However, the NERC faces ongoing challenges such as providing reliable and affordable power to a growing population. One area that has remained critical has been the distribution sector, where consumers are given electricity and in turn required to pay for services rendered. Owing to issues surrounding electricity supply, consumption, bills, electricity theft, consumer protection, compliance and enforcement, the federal government has introduced several initiatives geared towards protecting the consumer while also providing the investor the enabling environment to get returns on their investment. And tonight we'll be addressing issues concerning capping in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC. Why is capping necessary, and what measures are being taken to ensure compliance by DISCOs to bring about efficiency in the nation's power sector? These and more will be interrogated tonight on Electricity Town Hall as we look at compliance and enforcement in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. We have in the studio a Manager, Research and Data Analytics Division of NERC, Anefiok Nyakno. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, Mr. David.
We also have a Senior Manager, Legal Licensing and Compliance Division of the Commission of Pemi Lakonche. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, David, and thanks for having me.
Likewise, yeah. So we'll just get right to it, and I'll begin with you, Anefiok. What is energy cap, and why does the Commission cap energy consumption?
Capping can be considered as a commission determining the maximum energy the DISCOs can build an unmetered customer over a period of time. That's capping. And why do we cap energy consumption? It's basically to ensure that customers, unmetered customers, are not billed arbitrarily. So it's just to ensure that there is fairness in the energy bill they're going to receive at the end of the month.
So are there any categories of customers that are supposed to be capped or not capped?
So for capping, customers who are residential customers, to customers, and the small commercial customers, those customers that are meant to be capped. They don't consume very large amount of energy, and so to these, the Commission caps what is the maximum they can do for every month.
Okay, so when you talk about, let's say, small commercial areas or residential areas, does that mean, how about industrial areas or maximum demand clients? When they are not yet metered, do you cap them, or you ensure that they have to be metered?
So the Commission had authorized distribution companies to meter every maximum demand customer, I think right back from 2017. So all MD customers are meant to be metered.
All right, so going forward, how does the Commission now determine caps for unmetered customers? What goes into it?
Okay, the Commission adopts the weighted average of all metered, prepaid, and postpaid customer on the feeder or the distribution transformer. This is what we use to determine the cap for unmetered customers on the same feeder.
Okay, but even with that, we still hear some consumers who still complain that despite capping, their bills are still high and all of that. Do you get these complaints, and if so, why is this so?
Well, from time to time, the Commission receives complaints along this line, and then we make efforts to address them following redress mechanisms that are available to us and the Commission. Sometimes, mostly when we carry out the monthly assessment of DISCO's compliance with the cap. We also, that's another major channel through which we address people who are billed above the commission's cap.
How does the commission monitor DISCO to comply?
So to ensure DISCO's compliance with the caps, the capping order that are issued monthly, the commission has in place the order on performance monitoring framework, which has about 7 KPIs which the commission monitors DISCO's performance through, and the capping compliance with the capping order is one of them. So to ensure that DISCOs are compliant with the capping order, they have the responsibility to submit the capping report, which contains the customer's information, all unmetered customers' information, including the feeder, the business unit, the energy billed for the month, and cap for that particular customer for the month. So these are ways we use to monitor their compliance. So when we receive that, we analyze them and we see the level of compliance of each DISCO.
Okay, and since the inception of this introduction of capping, and we also understand that there are monthly reviews or periodic reviews of this capping, what can you say about the acceptability for consumers? Have there been complaints, or they've been actually able to say, yes, this is fair on a general scale? Of course, there'll be some hitches there and there, overbilling and all of that, but on a general scale, how has it been so far?
I would say the customers, they appreciate the whole entire process, because we also have a feedback mechanism whereby periodically we evaluate or we validate the credit adjustments that have been issued to customers as a result of this overbilling. So when the DISCOs notify the commission that they have completed the credit adjustments that were done, we carry out a validation exercise with the DISCOs, and in the process we reach out to customers via phone calls to confirm that this energy was returned to you, this overbilling was returned to you in form of energy in so months. Can you please confirm to us that this is contained in the bill and you've actually seen a reduction or an adjustment in your total balance going forward? So we've been getting feedback from customers,
which is quite fair. So more like positive than
yes,
negative.
it is.
Positive. Okay, how long are capped consumers or customers expected to be capped? Is it for as long as there are no meters available, or once meters come in, they're supposed to be given to them, or they will stay capped?
So thank you. To take the first question, I think that's relative. It depends on the customer's awareness level. For some customers that actually know how to manage their energy, they are indifferent. They are very fine with having a meter, because you know your consumption level and how to control it. So for others who are extravagant, they would rather want a situation where they are capped. So that's why I say it's neither here or there. It's about your awareness level of, and I've come to realize that a lot of Nigerians are not really aware on how to manage energy in the whole country.
Okay, I'm talking about awareness. What is the Commission doing to take these campaigns out to Nigerians to ensure that, look, metering is the way to go?
No, of course, it's clear that metering is the way to go, and the Commission has always been at the forefront of that. I think in the past we had also issued publications about how to manage electricity, how to manage your consumption of electricity, right? You find a situation where people go out and then they just leave their electrical appliances running all through, right? Because they are capped and they are not metered, right? But when you are metered, just as my colleague said, there's a way you are able to better manage how you consume electricity, right? So it's something that we've been pushing, and we hope Nigerians adopt it.
You're listening to the Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria, a program being sponsored by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we will speak more on the penalties that are available for discos who violate capping orders and capping rules, and more, and how effective they are. I still have in the studio Mr. Nefiok Nyakno, who is a manager, research and data analytics division of NERC, and also senior manager, legal licensing and compliance division of the Commission of Payemi Lakonche. Stay with us.
This is Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We will be back shortly.
In the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC, compliance is not optional, it's essential. Non-compliance triggers enforcement actions by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. Here's why compliance is important. Every market participant must play by the same rules to build trust in the Nigerian electricity market. Operators must maintain safe infrastructure and deliver reliable electricity to protect lives and property. Compliance is essential for consumer protection. You cannot be disconnected without prior notice. For national grid stability, operators must adhere to technical and operational standards. When operators don't comply, there are legal and financial penalties that include fines, license suspension, or revocation. So, compliance fosters a stable, fair, and secure electricity market, benefiting consumers and operators. Learn more at www.nerc.gov.ng. NERC, keeping the lights on.
We are back with Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
It's still Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We're discussing compliance and enforcement, and we're addressing the issues concerning capping in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC. We've been speaking with a manager, research and data analytics division of NERC, and Nefiok Nyakno, and a senior manager, legal licensing and compliance division of the Commission of Payemi Lakonche. Thank you once again for joining me on the program.
Thank you very much.
Talking about compliance now, what penalties are in place for discos that violate capping rules, and how effective are these penalties?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Now, the Commission's actions, enforcement actions, they are guided by an order we issued. In fact, two orders. Basically, the order on performance monitoring framework for discos. We issued the first one in 2022, October 2022, and then we issued the subsequent one in July 2024. Now, that order contains 7 KPIs that discos are measured by. And one of them is compliance with the order on capping, right? So all discos are meant to comply with the capping orders issued by the Commission. And that order is structured in such a way that it holds the board and management of the discos responsible for meeting the operational targets. So those KPIs that have been listed, they must be met by the board and management, right? And over time, we have even built on it in the 2024 order. Now, also, by the nature of that order, the infractions there are strict liability. By strict liability, it means we do not need to give you a notice. Once there's an infraction, we do not need to give the disco a notice, and we do not need the disco to issue a written defense. So we go ahead and apply the sanctions or the penalties listed in those orders. So for context, we'll look at what the 2022 order provided, right? So for non-compliance, where a disco fails to comply in a quarter, the first one then was the issuance of a rectification directive. A rectification directive is a directive basically issued by the Commission to a disco, directing them to and notifying them that, a breach has been committed, and directing them to comply within a timeline. That's for the first. Now, for subsequent infractions, so let's say you have an issue of non-compliance in 2 quarters, you then go straight to the board and management, in this case, specifically the executive management. So we can withdraw what we call their fit and proper. For context again, the management of utilities, even when you appoint persons into management positions, they have to get clearance from the commission. So that's when we issue fit and proper. So it's not just enough that you have been employed or appointed by a disco. You also come to the commission, and then the commission says, oh, this person is actually fit and proper. So where there's persistent non-compliance, the commission can withdraw that certification, which means that person ceases to hold that office. So, of course, in addition to what is stated in that order, we're not restricted by the sanctions or penalties in that order. We can also take further enforcement actions outside those listed. And to that extent, in February 2024, we directed the discos to issue credit adjustments. We also fined them 10% of the naira value of the overbilling. We deducted it from their OPEX. And we also directed them to publish the list of those credit adjustments. Okay. That was in February 2024. Now, coming to the order that was issued in July 2024, right? So the order now reflects the evolution of the NERC. Things it came up with new KPIs, but compliance with capping orders is also one of those KPIs which they must comply with. And in this case, we also have new penalties, right? So for any instance of any customer overbilled, 10% fine. That's penalty, financial penalties, right? To be deducted from their admin OPEX. Now, if the energy overbilled is greater than 20% of the allowed caps issued by the commission, or if the number of customers overbilled represent over 20% of the unmetered customers, what we can do is that we can take other enforcement actions, including with the withdrawal of that fit and proper approval of the head of billing in that utility, or whoever carries out similar functions. Okay. So you now have personal liabilities attached to persons holding key offices, right? Yes. And so riding on that, we have issued financial penalties on discos. We do it quarterly, and we have offered we have directed refunds running into billions of when you say energy credits now, energy credit, right? And then the financial penalties also.
Okay, I understand that the compliance is more like keeping in line, yes, and then enforcement is more of the punitive measures, yes, but the commission at the same time prefers that everybody complies, yes, and that the punitive measures are more like the last resort, yes, and all of that. So how does the commission now ensure that discos do not exploit the loopholes in capping to overbill customers, so that it doesn't even get to where they have to bring in the punitive measures now?
Yeah, okay. So monthly we issue energy caps. Okay. And they go out to the discos on or before the 10th day of every month. And discos are meant to comply with that, with those energy caps that are issued by the commission. And part of what we also do is to review them on a monthly basis. Okay. We review compliance. And of course, what we do is that we review monthly, then we carry out enforcement actions on a quarterly basis. So you see improvements. You can actually see, and you can see discos that were non-compliant in previous quarters doing better in subsequent quarters. Okay. And you even have circumstances or situations where discos do not even overbill in a quarter. Oh. They comply fully with the energy caps issued on a month-by-month basis.
Interesting. Yes. Okay, let it not sound like NERC is only trying to hold discos, gencos and all accountable. It's like all of that keeps making it tilt towards the benefit of the consumer and all. And where you have rights, you obviously have obligations. So I want to move over to the customer's angle now. We've talked so much about their rights. what are the obligations of a customer in ensuring compliance and also some of the enforcement that are available from NERC?
So are we speaking generally now?
Yes, generally, let's just touch on it.
Okay, so when you look at the Electricity Act, first of all, we situate it within billing, right? Our mandate is to ensure that the utilities are able to recoup their investment, right, okay, efficiently, when they operate efficiently, and you also ensure that customers are billed fairly, right? So it means on both sides we have to balance it. So we issued what is called recently the Consumer Bill of Rights, I think. I believe, sorry, and it contains a list of rights of customers and also their obligations. So even if you also pivot from that and you go into the Electricity Act, there's a section that creates performance standards, I think section 119 of the Electricity Act, which lists the standards that are meant to be complied by the discourse, right? Yes. And even while, if you want to look at it and say, okay, maybe they are leaning towards the discourse, you also go to, I think, section 115 of the Electricity Act, which also mandates that customers pay their bills. Okay. You also have the offenses and penalty sections of the Electricity Act, where customers bypass.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to hop on.
Yes, and there's an interesting part of the Electricity Act which also deals with, we've had instances where customers attack disco staff. Okay. Right? So it has now been criminalized in the Electricity Act. Okay. So in addition to whatever penalties are stipulated in the criminal code or the penal code for injuries, you also have penal liabilities attached to customers who attack disco staff. So on both sides, you have discourse obligations, and then you also have customers' obligations and their rights.
So as it is, NERC is ensuring accountability from both sides of the divide, the discos and also the customers as it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Opayemi. And I'll throw this to both of you now. From a regulator's point of view, what are the major challenges in enforcing capping across all distribution companies?
Okay, thank you very much. To start with, I think the electricity customers would need to be sensitized more on how these things work. Okay. For example, every time we carry out a validation exercise to ensure the credit adjustments were adequately applied by the discos, and you get to call electricity consumers to find out if they've at any point noticed any adjustments, you find out they are blank. They don't even know what's going on. So to me, I think one of the things we need to do is for Nigerians to understand what electricity is, its consumption, how you pay your bill, and how to even read your bills, what feeder you belong to, and exactly how to know the caps on the feeder. That way, there will be a balance where both sides are knowledgeable on what goes on, what goes in, what goes out, what is expected of you, and then everybody will be fine.
Okay, maybe suffice to say we create a handbook. Once you're getting a meter, you should be given a handbook, just like...
we have, our website is quite rich. When you go there and you go to the resources section, you find a lot of these these materials that you can read, easily downloadable and easy to read. It would help.
Okay, as we wrap up, gentlemen, what is the future of capping in Nigeria's electricity market? Will it remain or will it be phased out once full metering is achieved?
The Electricity Act, which is our principal regulation, clearly provides that at a certain stage in the evolution of the market, the Commission would direct that before any customer is supply power, that customer must be metered.
Okay.
Right. So what that presupposes is that as the market evolves, we'll get to a stage where everybody is metered, and that's why we have a lot of these schemes out there. Once we achieve 100% metering, capping will be phased out.
Of course, that'll be very interesting because right now, some of the impediments that people have that they now end up staying on capping is because of the not so readily available. I know the Commission and the stakeholders involved are doing a whole lot to make sure that meters are available on demand or on payment. Hopefully, we meet that 100% target and everybody's covered, and electricity will be better for it in Nigeria. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the program this evening. This is where we end today's edition of Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria. I've been speaking with the Manager, Research and Data Analytics Division of NERC, Anefia Nyakno, and the Senior Manager, Legal Licensing and Compliance Division of the Commission of Bayemi Lakonche. Thank you both for your insightful contribution and coming on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Appreciation to the production team, Studio Manager Phineas Udoyo, Facilitator Conrad Labi, Producer Sunday Goche. Special thanks to our Executive Producer Sushima Ki. I'm David Umur. See you next Monday for another interesting edition of Electricity Town Hall. Goodbye.